A board workshop of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held today, Monday, November 13th, 2023, beginning at 4:30 p.m. in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom of the Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District, located at 2000 North 23rd Street in McAllen. At this meeting, there may be discussion by the board on the items and subjects listed as follows. Item 1, call the meeting to order. I have done so at 4:30 p.m. Item 2, public comments. There are no public comments. Item 3, reports. 3A, report regarding facilities, maintenance, and operations project. Dr. De Hoyos.
Good afternoon. This is a report from our Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations Department. Mrs. Melissa Ortiz, Project Manager for Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations Department, will present on this month's projects. This item is for information purposes only.
Good afternoon, Board President, Superintendent, and Board of Trustees. Okay, I'm sorry, we're a little nervous today.
It's okay.
Niño's not here today, but hopefully I do well.
You're off to a great start. Don't worry. It's fine.
Okay, so we start with the Collegiate Academy. So we are on schedule. Everything is going great. I don't know if you want a little information, or if you just want for me to kind of get a little more information on what's going on right now. Okay, so the installation of the brick flashing and finishing up of the brick installation is ongoing. They're installing the handrails to the second floor. The lime stabilization is getting worked on into the caliche, and they're pouring concrete on the southeast parking lot at this time. So installation of the wall tiles are going in the restroom, first floor and second floor, and they're also working in the administration area. The installation of the ductwork and AC controls are also being worked on. The special systems are also going in, and the special systems are cameras, intercoms, fire alarms, etc. And also the elevators getting worked on. And we are on schedule, and it's approximately 70% complete. Our HVAC projects were about 98% complete. The contractor's currently working on row. The boiler startup is scheduled for this Wednesday at 8 a.m., following with the equipment training for our employees. And in Lamar, we are currently working on the test and balance, which the company goes every evening to go and work on that. And we're pending about half of the equipment that was installed. So hopefully by this Friday, we'll be completely complete with those HVAC projects.
For both Lamar and Rowe.
Correct. So row natatorium, the large and small pool replastering have been completed for about a month or so, and repairs were all done. Now we are pending the equipment installation, and great news, this Friday we'll start the installation of the equipment. So we had to wait a little while as for Coach Patch. He requested for us to start this Friday, so like that we wouldn't work into the kids practicing and whatnot. So estimated completion is approximately 10 days. We are also working on the Travis roof, which we could say we're about at 70% complete on the roof membrane, and currently working on roof curbs for the HVAC equipment on the 200 wing, which is on the west side. The commencement will be on Friday because we have to bring down all the HVAC equipment, and we don't want to do it while we're in school. So half of the equipment will be done this break, and the other half will be finished on the second break, which will be on the winter break, because substantial completion is scheduled for February 2024. Okay, we also have our surveillance camera upgrades, which is at De Leon and Morris. So right now we're looking at a completion time of December 2023. Because we have some manufacturer delays, so we're waiting on some equipment, but the cameras are fully functional. So here we have Roosevelt Elementary kitchen improvements, and we are currently working on the roof, which is the connecting hall to the cafeteria, on the lighting, floor tile, wall tile, electrical components, plumbing, and the walk-in cooler freezer. Over at Rayburn, it's very, very similar to Roosevelt. So we are currently also working with the roof, the connecting call to the cafeteria, the lighting, the floor tile, the wall tile, electrical, plumbing, ceiling grid, and the walk-in cooler freezer. Over at Garza, we are currently working on the electrical and mechanical equipment, wall tile, floor tile, and outdoor ramp. Over at Wilson, we are working on the ceiling grid, the electrical, wall tile, plumbing, and the grease trap. So the McAllen High School field sports lighting. Power was connected by AEP, but we are pending the electrical transformer to be delivered to get powered up by the company, by Hellas. Okay, and over at the press box. So the installation of the windows are complete while the installation of the metal wall panels continue and the roofing system is still ongoing. Damp proofing and waterproofing is ongoing. Tape and float is ongoing. Special systems installation, as mentioned previously, it's the fire alarm, the intercom, and all of these components are being worked on to go along with the fire sprinkler and so on. Let's see. So the upcoming projects, our Network Operations Center, which is a NOC, that one's gonna take a little while. We have met with the contractor. They have been issued a contract, but this equipment has large amount of lead time. So we're looking probably to start maybe in the summer on this project. And it's something that the contractor or us, we don't have control over. We have the stadium fiber installation as well. That one, we're working on a contract with a contractor, and hopefully in the near future, about approximately 2 weeks, everything will be going. The contractor gave a certain amount of time, so we're working with them to make sure that they are okay with that amount. And if not, so like that, we could go with what the district originally requested on the days of completion. And of course, we have our camera and intercom upgrades at Memorial High School, which will be getting new cameras and new intercom system replacement. Travis Middle School will only have an intercom going in, and the instruction and guidance will have both camera and intercom. And then Mr. Morales will present on the castle rounds.
Thank you. I get the last page. Nice and sweet. We continue to do castle rounds. We work with our campuses hand in hand. There's been some recent change with our castle rounds. We went to once a month instead of once a week. But everything that is considered castle or anything that needs to be done right away, of course, we work on with our work order process as usual.
Y'all meet with the principal, or who do you meet with for the castle round?
The castle round is a walk that's done by an administrator. Most of the time, it's an AP, an assistant principal, with a custodian along with a police officer.
Was it changed to once a month, because we weren't seeing a need for it, or why did we change it?
I think we were seeing that it was, I'd hate to use the word overkill, but it was being redundant. Week after week, we were seeing the same reports come in, the same work orders come in. So it allows both the campus more time to do the administrative stuff, and it allows us a little bit of time to catch up.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Ms. Ortiz, if I may. Thank you for your report, Lord. On the natatorium, you mentioned a couple of times install equipment. What equipment is pending to be installed at the natatorium?
All the pumps and whatnot, heaters, everything that goes in with the pool. Just all the equipment is being replaced, so that will be going in. So the contractor does have it in his yard, so come Friday, he'll be bringing it on over, and it's the whole complete equipment replacement.
So the work that was being done up to this point was focused mainly on the plastering of the pool?
Correct.
Okay.
All the repairing, there was a lot of repairs, if I'm not mistaken. There was 4 water leaks
Okay.
that were fixed throughout the whole area.
Now, water leaks, are you saying from the pool or from the piping? Or
It was
both?
from the pipes,
From the
and
pipes.
it was from drains, from pipes. It's different areas.
So everything that's been done up to now is getting everything prepared so that the next phase, which is the actual
All the
equipment, the
equipment.
heaters, all of that, the pumps, the filter systems, all that is now
Correct.
gonna be in
And the
place.
filter system was the one that last came in, so that's why it was a bigger delay on the equipment coming in. So it was about 2 weeks ago when they called us that everything was in, and, well, now it's here, and we're looking forward for that for Friday.
Makes sense, makes sense. This is all within budget that the board had already approved?
Correct.
And so-
Everything
so
within
So
budget.
far, everything's within.
Yes.
What's the anticipated completion date of all the equipment, everything installed and it's completed?
From this Friday, it's about 10 days that the contractor is estimating. After the substantial completion, we look for 30 days so like that they could completely do a final. So it's punch list items.
Gotcha.
So hopefully by the end of December, we'll all be completely.
Yeah. And how often is staff monitoring the work being done on the natatorium or any other projects that we've been reported on?
It's only me, so I monitor it on a daily basis.
Okay, does that mean you go on site and observe and
I
see?
have to go on site,
Okay.
onto the job sites. If it's not one, another contractor calls me to another. I have meetings in another. So on a daily basis, I have to go and visit the job site. Like the natatorium, there's nothing going on right now. So I have to, if concerns come up, Coach Patch or Mr. McCleany call me up, I go by. The kitchen projects, if there's a concern, if there's a meeting, I go out to them, and then we have other items, so I have to carry on, like the warranties, upcoming projects, ongoing projects. So I have to take turns on some of the projects.
Okay. And when you do the walkthrough, do you have a checkoff list and a report that you prepare and document those walkthroughs?
Well, it's all already mentally, it's something that comes natural. So you actually just walk the site and make sure you walk with the superintendent of the job. We have a schedule for the job. So I kind of just mentally have a checklist, but not physically. So we just try to keep on schedule.
So
But-
are you using the vendor's checklist of the work they should be doing given? And you're using that as a guide to monitor their
Well,
progress?
during the construction, you really don't have a checklist. At the end is when you have a checklist,
Right.
when you're actually gonna check out to do a punch.
Right.
Your punch list, and then you do your back punch. So
Gotcha.
that's when you have a punch list. But I do monitor it with the contractor's schedule, is what I go off of.
Yeah, because what I was impressed was when we toured the site for the collegiate high school, they had the board on the wall, and I know you're familiar with it.
Yes.
And they had the list and the schedule for all the trades and the timelines for, I thought that was really impressive. For me, that would be a very quick reference as to where they are and where they aren't, and then when you walk the site, you would see exactly what was being done. And I'm sure that's what you do, so,
Yes, that's what we have to refer ourselves back to.
gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you.
And to elaborate on Trustee Saldivar's, just to make sure that all of the equipment that was spec'd out is the equipment that was actually delivered and installed, we do all of that verification as
Correct,
well?
and the engineer also is the one that assists in that. So all the specifications, there's submittals that are submitted, and I'm sorry?
Who are the engineers?
That one is Chanine, for the natatorium, if that's what you're referring,
Okay, yes.
that project, yeah.
HVACs, all the HVACs that were currently reported on today, again, these were all recommended by administration, board approved, contracts awarded. There's no
Yes, sir.
emergency equipment being replaced at this time for any HVAC?
Not those two.
Okay, perfect. And the press box, what's the anticipated completion date?
Right now, the contractor's looking, or the district is looking into, hopefully the end of December.
Okay. Again, any issues or concerns so far?
No, it's just manufacturer delays still with the elevator. We're still waiting for that. We had a situation with AEP also, of course, not the engineer, not us. We can't control it, so we have to wait for them to come out and power our transformers up. We have a delay like on the stairs. So there's stuff that comes up that we have no control over.
Okay. You mentioned a moment ago about the fiber optics, and you said you needed them by a certain time frame. If not, you were gonna go, if I understood correctly, whatever the district had specified?
And that's the new project?
Yes.
That's an upcoming project. So the district specified, if I'm not mistaken, 60 days. And they came back and said, I could do it for you in 13. And we're like, oh, we really don't want to, right? It's really like, you have to get your materials and whatnot. So it would really put us in a predicament to where we're expecting 13 days. And then they're gonna get hit with liquidated damages, which is $250 a day, which it's not convenient for not them, and then we're putting them in a situation, but in reality, we know how this works, and we need to make sure we allow them the amount of time that they need, and a contract lasts for, let me see, usually we get a contract within anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. So then by the time we issue, we have to do our pre-construction meeting, we have to issue our notice to proceed, and they start counting as you issue the notice to proceed. So they have to get a contract, and in order for them to order materials. So then time is running on them. So we're waiting on that information, so purchasing will be getting back to us to see what they're going with.
Now I understand. I had misunderstood. I thought there was a different type
No.
of equipment
No.
that was specified other than it's time-wise. They were trying to do it in a quicker time, and you prefer to stick to the schedule that the district had provided for.
Yeah, because I guess they
makes
don't
sense.
know how it works.
Yeah.
And they're telling us, we could do it in 13 days, but that's just labor-wise.
Right.
There's a lot of other stuff that happened within the time that we need to allow the time. So like that, we don't come back and say, hey, you didn't finish on time, because we have to follow by the contract dates.
Gotcha. Thank you for your report, Ms. Ortiz, Mr. Morales, very well done. Yeah, okay, thank you, Madam President.
I have one very brief question. I think you mentioned that the natatorium was like a 10-day project? Is that what you
Just for
said?
the equipment.
For the equipment. So, I guess all told, is that going to affect our athletes' use of the facility at all?
No, not at
Okay.
all. That's why we're doing it in that time
Okay.
frame, because we let Coach Patch and Coach McCleany, Mr. McCleany, I'm sorry, know that it was gonna take 10 days, so that's why they chose that time period. So like that, we wouldn't affect the kids at all, because it's the time period that they're off, which is our Thanksgiving break. And then when they come back, it'll be the 10 days. So the contractor was stating, no, you know what, we can do it in 5 to 7 days. And I said, are you sure? Because we've got Thanksgiving, people gotta take that break as well.
Very well.
So
Okay.
that's how we came up with the 10 days, and that's what we're looking forward to, 10 days. And after the 10 days, of course, we have to come back and do the punch list and whatnot. And then after that is when we could close the project up, when we come and review and make sure everything was installed correctly. Engineers' assistants come in, and we do our thing, make sure everything is running correctly. Hope that all the equipment comes in fine and is functional, and, because you always have that little, the unforeseen items that come up.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, you're
Yeah, if they
welcome.
start on that Thursday, Friday, the 2 weekends and the 5 days, that's their 10 days
So
right there.
this Friday's when they told us, because I believe the
Yeah.
kids head out somewhere. So this Friday's when they head out, and then we'll have the 10 days from there.
Okay, makes sense.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ortiz.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you, you're very welcome.
We're now on item 3B, report regarding enrollment and attendance. Dr. De Hoyos.
Yes, this is a report from our Strategic Partnership and Student Outreach Department. This report will include an update on enrollment, recruitment, and recapture efforts. This will also provide an update on the department's contribution toward the average daily attendance. Mrs. Lisa Cavazos, Director for Strategic Partnership and Student Outreach, will share more information. This item is for information purposes only. Ms.
Good afternoon, trustees, Board President Ali Seda and Dr. De Hoyos. I'm really happy to be here with you guys. It's been a minute, so I have some great information to share in a short amount of time. So this is the enrollment story of the last 6 months. So we ended the school year last year with 20,232 students. As of August 28th, so just minutes before the first bell of first period of the first day of school rang, we had 19,930 verified registrations. That means that those moms, dads, guardians had completed all of their registration process, and those were the kids that we were expecting. We actually started the first day of school with 19,449, which is a low number, but 137 more than what we started this time last year. As of the time of this report, which is a few days old now, we were at 20,135 with a deficit of about 331 students over this time last year. So you guys have seen this before. This is an updated version of the daily enrollment story. So that top green line tells you where our enrollment is day over day over day over day. Doesn't look like much change, but when you look at the pluses and minuses at the bottom of that chart, you'll see that there is a lot of change on a daily basis. All of those black bars indicate students coming into the district, new entries, versus the yellow, which are students who are leaving the district. Now, this is a static picture of a very much living process. This is in real time. All day long, our campuses are busy enrolling, transferring students are moving from one school to another, new entries that are coming and moving, people who are moving away. This is just very, very, very much alive. So this is, as I mentioned, a snapshot. The total difference between first day and current day of school for this school year is 686 students in the positive, but there have been a total of 1,422 new entries and 407 withdraws since the first day of school. That is not including the number of students that we were expecting that did not make it to the first day of school. So we're going to dig a little deeper in those 1,422 kids that came in. Where did they come from? Well, first of all, I can tell you that we've had the biggest increase in pre-K and 10th grade. Pre-K, we are not surprised. That is typical. Youngest kiddos, and they come in a little later in the school year, typically, right? We are also at the highest pre-K numbers that we have had since the student outreach team started. So this is, and really, I'm 99% confident ever. We might be off by a couple of numbers there, but we are at our all-time high or very close to it for pre-K numbers. 10th grade, we usually see a 9th grade. So this is a bit of an anomaly, but we will take those 10th graders as well. That bottom chart there tells you where they're coming into. So new entries by campus with Nikki Rowe leading the way there for the district. We're going to take another look here at the 407. Now again, these are students that have withdrawn since the first day of school. This does not include kiddos that did not show up. This number is 152 less than that last year. So that means that at this time last year, we had lost 152 more students than we have lost this year. So we're better at retaining the students, which is a great thing. Where are those kids coming from? I'm sorry, where are those kids going? So good news here is that every single reason across the board that a student would leave is down. Student withdrawals are also at a 3-year low when compared to this time in the 2 preceding years, right? So by this time last year and the year before, withdrawals had been much higher already. The incidence of every type of withdrawal, as I mentioned, is down, with the exception of the other category, which is a problem because that means that we're not altogether sure where those kiddos are going, but that work and that investigation is ongoing. Most notably, and we're excited to report that leavers for homeschool are down 37.5%. So fewer and fewer families are leaving us for that option. We're working hard to bring those kids back to our district as well. When it comes to students who leave us for neighboring districts or other Texas public schools, these are the kids that we chase after on a pretty regular basis. And when it comes to those students, only 10.5% of them were here on a transfer from another district. So our strategy continues to focus on the 3 R's, recruit. So our community events, the fall is full of them. We're really excited to be engaged in a lot of things this season. And then also early childhood and learning centers. So we still maintain that if we focus at the beginning of that funnel, getting kids in, when they first start school, that is the key to keeping them engaged. Our retention efforts, we always leverage the transfer process whenever necessary, customer service always, and then leveraging the re-registration and end-of-year processes to make sure that we are keeping as many kids as possible in the district. And then our targeted outreach when it comes to recapture, going after those kiddos who have left us for other districts, for homeschools, for private schools, so on and so forth. You'll notice that our team is a little smaller. We had some attrition this year, But we are a strong and tiny, mighty team working hard for McAllen ISD. This is what I'm probably most excited about right now because it's new. It's our shiny new toy. Our student outreach team is contributing toward our ADA, or average daily attendance. So not only is it important that we bring students into the district, but we got to make sure these students come to school every day. So there's a lot of information up there, but I'm just going to kind of briefly highlight what we're focused on. Number one is data visibility. You'll notice that very colorful report. That report goes out weekly. What is on that report is important, but I really want to give you the kind of overview of the philosophy behind that report. First of all, you will see a week-over-week change. This is sort of like the grade book for a student's grade. This is the week-over-week grade book for attendance for each campus's average daily attendance. You'll also notice that there's some color coding going on there. You're going to see from last week to this week, did your campus have an increase or a decrease in attendance? You're also going to see some quartiles. So our campus leaders are extremely competitive, and we're going to capitalize on that competition by ranking them to see who's at the top of the list, and then also really promoting the sharing of best practices. So if you are at the top of the list, what are you doing? What kinds of things are working? What strategies can we invoke? So that bottom little inset chart there is daily attendance. So now we can also look, put your daily attendance over your calendar and figure out what things are happening when we have really high attendance and what things are happening when we have really low attendance. As simple as looking at the day of the week, the time of the year, things like special events, pep rallies, dances, homecoming, all of these things impact attendance as well, and they're highly predictable. So we can prepare ourselves and really promote attendance and how we schedule those fun extracurricular things as well. I'm really excited in the data work, but also in the adult culture that's going on. So that's the second part of the strategy. We are meeting on a regular basis with our campuses, right? We're digging deep into data. So we don't want to attack this with a net. We want to attack this with a spear, right? So for example, met with a campus and we were talking about big attendance strategies, and we dug really deep into the data to show that almost half of the students had perfect attendance, right? If you cut a little bit deeper, more than 78% of those students had been absent 2 days or less. So we don't have a campus-wide problem, we don't have a district-wide problem, but there is a very targeted challenge that we are working hard to uncover and then tackle that with very specific strategies. So this is the newest work. There are more questions than there are answers right now, but I'm really excited to be putting the power of the think tank and student outreach and our efforts behind attendance as well.
What's the magic number?
I was going to say, what's the magic
Ooh,
number?
so glad you asked. The magic number, our district goal is 96% daily attendance and for the year. That magic number will tell a campus how many students can be. We don't want any students absent, but that's the number that gets you to 96 for your campus.
Okay. So that's when you get the phone call at home, like.
That's right. And please come in because we'll take you better late than absent. That's the key.
And is this the 9 a.m. attendance or what time?
So for elementary schools, it's 9:45. For secondary, it's 10 a.m. And so what's exciting is that, and I wish I could show it to you. I will promise next time I will bring you a demonstration. But our amazing technology team has launched dashboards. So in real time, you get to see who's absent for first period. Then the clock starts ticking to get the work, or on the work to get the kids in before official attendance taking time, right? So now we're uncovering is transportation an issue, is all kinds of things, right? But the work is to get them in before official attendance taking time.
Awesome, I love it. I love charts.
I love what you said, better late than
Absent.
absent, yeah.
That's right.
I mean, because
That's
usually you're
right.
like, oh, we're going to be late, might as well just stay home.
Yeah. It's too easy to do that.
yeah.
We will take you, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right.
Um,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to interrupt your presentation.
I'm
Do you-
done.
She's done.
I
Oh,
found
okay,
my
good.
last slide, yes.
Very well done, I just have
There you
a
go.
couple questions on, you mentioned about best practices. Can you share with us some of the best practices that you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'll give you a great example. Downloading your data at 8:20 in the morning, once first initial attendance has been taken, and you get together your committee of callers, right? So you have front desk staff, you have counselors staff, you have secretaries. They're all on the phone with that data list, and they're finding out where you are you on your way, are you sick? Make sure you bring in a excuse, thank you, and we are able to move the needle. So these calls started, for example, at our largest high school last week, and they were able to move attendance from last week to this week by 0.5 percentage point, which sounds like a very small amount, but is a huge move. Because if you can imagine, it's equivalent to moving your GPA. It's a huge, huge, huge effort to impact that number, and it's working.
Well, it affects the amount of return we get from the state as well. So,
Absolutely.
and that's help funds what we're trying to do. The other real quick, you mentioned pre-K and movement forward. How many non-qualified student slots do we have open right now? Does that make
Universal-
sense, that question?
Yes, so
Okay.
universal pre-K seats is kind of a moving target.
Yeah.
So the way we figure that is you get a campus gets 3 universal seats per every 17 eligible students. And the key is to fill the empty spots in a classroom without triggering the need for the expense for an additional teacher. So in most cases, it's about 3 students per section of pre-K. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but it's about 170, 180 students across the district. And we are fixing to launch that for next year as well. It'll open up December 4th.
But thank you, but how many, as I understood, and I could be wrong, the district had a target amount, a maximum amount from the district, and then you worked it by, as you just mentioned, by individual camp. How
The
many
target-
slots are remaining unfilled in
Gotcha.
those campuses?
Got you. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Okay.
I know that we are not full at capacity. The campuses that we do have slots at, we just don't have a demand for at this
Gotcha.
point.
And that's all I need to know. You don't need to go get the info and send it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your report.
Thank you, Mrs. Cavazos. We are now at 5 o'clock, so I would love to entertain a motion to adjourn our workshop.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Delgado and second by trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 6-0.